Hey everyone, it's Angie. I am back with my belly plate that we did some testing on, and I have heat set it all. And I wanted to make mention, I did not realize at the time I grabbed it and was just doing this testing until after I got done, I got to looking at it. I had actually put another product on this belly plate at one point when I was testing, and I honestly do not remember whose product I was testing, if it was a thick medium, a varnish. I don't know what I tested, but you can see from right there over that that's underneath there. And since I put this paint on top of it, it's even more noticeable. And there was even some bubbling of that varnish or thick medium or whatever it was I used. But anyway, because of that, that caused the paint to not quite absorb as well there. It made that side of the plate a little more resistant. But you see what came across here on the edges on the bare belly plate. So that would be our comparison to everything else, because everything else was on bare vinyl. So the first little section we did was with the Winton oils, and I've marked it. The top was Winton mixed with the Genesis thinning medium. The bottom was Winton mixed with Exodus, and this is Winton mixed with BC liquid medium. So I'm going to take this, where's my camera? There we go. I'm going to take some little cotton wedge pieces and rub over them on all of these to see how they do. I do want to also make mention that regardless of the brand of paint, some particular, well, I won't say not all, because I'm not sure about some of these newer ones nowadays, but I know that with Genesis heat set paint, if you talk to them in any depth, you would find that even though Genesis cures when it's heat set, there was an element of Genesis that did continue to cure to the vinyl over time as it air dried and set as well. So even though it was immediately cured, probably 90% or so, I don't even know what the percentage was, that it did continue to air cure some as well. Now with Exodus, not Exodus, I meant Winton. With the Winton oils, even though we can quick cure them to where we can keep painting, because it is an oil-based paint, it's going to act a little more like an air dry paint, that it will be cured enough to handle and do what you need to, but it will also cure to the vinyl some over time. I don't know about BC paints or any of the other newer paints out, if they are that way and have that property or not. They may be completely 100% cured once heat set and don't have any air cure time. I don't know. But anyway, so I just want to say that before we start this so that we can evaluate everything. So I'm going to start with the Winton that we mixed with the Genesis, and I'm going to rub it. It may not have adhered to this because of that funkiness that was under there, so I'm going to try to rub the side that had the had it on the bare vinyl. So let's see. Well, I'm getting my magic marker on my where's my thing? Oop, there we go. So I'm getting my, what do you call it, Sharpie off. Let me see. If I go this way. Right there. No paint. Now, if I rub it over here where that other stuff was, I might get paint, because, like I said, it didn't take the paint as well there. And there you go. I get paint over there. So I'll talk about that a little more in a minute. Let's go down here to the Winton with the Exodus. Go down here. I'm going to try to rub it just where it was paint on vinyl. No color. If I rub it where there was that weird whatever I had before, I'm getting a little faint hint of color off of the one with the Exodus. So let's try the Winton on the bare vinyl with BC, and it was all on bare vinyl. I'm going to fold this over to a side that I haven't used, and we're going to rub right there. Oops, I dropped my wedge. Let's try this again. Okay, that side's clean. I don't think I'm seeing any paint lifting there. If I did, I wouldn't be surprised because, like I said, oil paint is a little bit different in that Winton is an oil paint. But it would appear that that the Exodus, it looks like the BC made it the most resistant at initial testing, and the Exodus came in second, and the Genesis, I think, did I get any with the Genesis? Maybe a hint amount. But the main thing I wanted to say was, if you notice that it would come off on this area over here where it was varnished with something. So I would say that if you have a kit that has some shiny spots and you are going to paint it with Wintons, that do not use varnishes and whatnot to prime your kit. Use either the Exodus thinning oil if you're going to be using that in with your paints, or try using the BC, what is that called, liquid medium, if you're going to, and put that on it first, because I'm concerned with Winton oil, since they tend to seep into the vinyl and grab to the vinyl. They do better actually on bare vinyl, so I'm concerned that if you put too much barrier down, it might cause a problem. But whatever was here is too slick to have any tooth for painting on, and you can see how shiny it is. So I apologize, I didn't realize that going in. All right, let's go on over to the one that we did that was Genesis paint with Genesis thinner. No lift. Genesis paint with Exodus, that's in the middle. No lift. Genesis paint with the, and it is splotchy because I had that weird splotchy, I had a nub on that wedge where I tore it, so that's why it made that weird looking model pattern or speckled pattern. That was with the BC liquid medium. No lift off. So that did really good on all three. Then we're going to go to the BC paint with Genesis. And I can just use this same wedge because I didn't get any off on the other. Try to dodge this writing. So BC paint with Genesis. No color. BC paint with Exodus. No color lift. And BC paint with BC. Let me get it where you can focus. BC paint with BC thinner. And no color lift. So, let me try a Q-tip because it's smaller. And the only one that there was any concern was the Winton, and I'm not sure how fair that test was on these two because we were bucking up against this weird thing. But if I go with something smaller, like a Q-tip down here, just where it's not anything but bare vinyl, nothing comes off. With the Genesis, nothing comes off. And then of course the BC, nothing comes off. So I really feel like that if you want to paint with Wintons and you love Winton oil paints, I really feel like that adding a heat setting agent like the Exodus heat setting agent or the BC liquid medium to it makes it where it cures just fine. I think that probably the Wintons prefer a bare vinyl, or if you do prime with something that is not going to leave a slick surface. You want to have a good tooth surface for those oils. And then obviously the Genesis is working with all these, and the BC works with all these as well. And for those that wondered if the BC would work with just the liquid medium and not the BC thinning medium, it does. So those are options. I think the BC liquid medium is something I might look at a little more with all this stuff, because it seems to be, I don't know what it is, but it seems to work well. Alrighty, catch y'all later.